What makes a 15-year-old see a graph with a lot of jumping numbers and candlesticks and say, ooh, yes, this is interesting, I like this?
I think it was like something new that I could go into, and it just catched me because I knew that you can really go far with trading.
What keeps you motivated and brings you back to track?
That's an interesting question because right now I have like a little bit a hard, rough time in the markets.
Welcome, Nico, to our TTP podcast show. It's really, really nice to have you here. We're going to dive right into hearing a little bit more about your trading journey, your success, your strategies, and everything. But I do want you to tell a little bit about yourself and kind of how did you get started with trading?
Yes. So basically, my trading journey started when I was 15 years old. I came into trading because my older brother was in a network marketing company, and this company was selling like they were telling people how to trade and those basic trading stuff. This was like the first contact I had with trading. I fell in love with the concept of trading, with the markets, and started basically with those basic structures like support, resistance, and those market structures like trend lines. I quickly noticed that I couldn't be successful with that. So I took on with trading coaches, did like everything I could do to, get better in trading. I read a lot of books, so now I can happily say that I can trade, but it's a
Okay.
long journey.
What makes a 15-year-old see a graph with a lot of jumping numbers and candlesticks and say, ooh, yes, this is interesting, I like this? Were you always like good in maths and something like that? Or
No,
is it
no,
just
totally not.
Mm.
Totally not. No. You have to be a little bit crazy, I think, because in the beginning it's not that interesting, of course, because you just see candlesticks moving around, and it's a little bit overwhelming when you start with trading. I think it was like something new that I could go into, and it just catched me because I knew that you can really go far with trading. You can achieve a little bit more in life when you understand the markets. So that's basically what catched me in the beginning.
Okay. Okay. So you've mentioned as well that you're like you started looking into indicators and a lot of those tools, but now you're not really using it.
No, not at all.
How
I don't
come?
use any tables. Um, as I said, I really went through like everything you could imagine with trading. I traded like those basic structures, triangle structures. I traded with all indicators, RSI, so relative strength index and stuff. I came into volume trading when I was 16 years old. That was like the first time I went a little bit more into this deeper understanding of the markets, of volume itself, liquidity and stuff. So then I understand that you don't need that much of indicators to really trade successfully. Then I went a little bit more far into trading. I learned liquidity trading. At that time, I understand that you really don't need any indicators. You can really see in the markets what you need to trade. Now I don't use indicators at all. I draw things into the market to visualize some things, but I don't use RSI and stuff like that. I don't use that.
Okay, so how would you call today then your trading style? Because you said you've went through everything.
Yes.
So what is your current style? How would you define it?
It's mostly liquidity hunting, mixed with market structures like big momentums, breaks and stuff. So mostly I look for liquidity hunts like trend lines and equal highs and lows, because those structures are indicators for big movements when they get hunted. And my trading style is a little bit it's complicated because it's a lot of market experience that I have over the last few years. So it's a little bit hard to explain, but like I said, simply said, it's like liquidity hunting.
Okay, so let's try to a little bit simplify this, because I'm sure that some of our listeners would be very interested in understanding a bit more
Okay.
about your strategy as well, because so far you have been very successful with trading with us as well. You're happy with your payouts. So I want to kind of maybe get an indication from you on how would you determine the entry and exit points, for example, for a trade for you? Like, what do you see that makes you say, okay, this is interesting?
Okay, I understand. At first, you have to look in the markets where you see big movements, like big pumps and dumps, where the candles are really big and they go fast forward, like big green candles and big red candles, for example. Because those indicators, this indicates like that big market players are really moving forward in those areas in the market. Then you have to look if a market makes a break. For example, you have those up, down, up movements like a trend line. And when you see, for example, an up movement, when it breaks the last high, when you go up, down, and up, and when it goes up with a big momentum, then it's like a really interesting area for me, because those areas mostly creates imbalances in the markets, and those imbalances have to get filled. And this is fuel for the market to make another movement when it comes back. But before it comes back into those areas where it creates those pumps, the market has to clear some liquidity for the market makers to get their positions into the market, because market is always have to, one when you want to buy something, always another part of the market has to sell something. And in those areas, there are big liquidity pools from little market players like me that are trying to get into the market. And when those when the market comes back into an area where a lot of liquidity lies, then it's always an indicator for big players to get their positions into the market in those areas to make another movement in the opposite direction. So what I'm basically looking for is, before the market comes to an entry point of mine, I look for big trend lines or big equal highs or lows to get hunted. And this is like special security for my trades. And then I take an entry point in imbalances, for example. But I don't
Sounds
know how
like
to.
it sounds just like that you a lot of the day is you looking on the chart, but like you've mentioned, you're not really counting on indicators like at all. So you're basically the whole day just sitting there and looking again and again and again and again on the same charts until you see something, some spark.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. This is the technical part. How do you handle the emotional part? Because it sounds like, because you're not counting on indicators, right? Because you're really focusing on doing it your own and analyzing everything by yourself with your experience. Doesn't it add more pressure? Doesn't it add like more weight to every trade?
Yes. Yes, I would say yes.
Tell us about the emotional part. I mean,
Yes.
how do you handle the stress, basically?
Of course, I have a lot of experience with trading, and I know myself in specific situations. I do get emotional sometimes. I do still have problems with emotional trading and stuff. It's totally normal. I'm still very young. But you, over the time, you learn your system, you learn your trading style, and someday it just makes click, and you understand, okay, if I do certain things, then negative things won't happen. For example, if I don't over accelerate trades, then I won't make as much stop losses and stuff. But basically, yes, I'm looking into the charts for a very long time. That makes me go crazy sometimes because it's a little bit boring, of course. Um, but yeah, the emotional part is just, it's a journey. You have to go through bad times to understand what you don't have to do in the markets and what you have to do. And basically, I'm at a point right now where I really quickly understand what problems I have, and I can solve them very quickly. And then I don't have those emotional ups and downs. But I do still have problems. It's completely normal. I do have
Okay.
to work on that.
Did it ever happen to you that you started emotion free on a trade and then somehow something was triggered and you completely ruined the trade because of it?
Yes, that happened a lot of times. Of course,
Okay.
in the past, I traded like CFDs and stuff. I'm now a future trader. When I traded CFDs, it was really crazy because you start emotional free, you are really into your trade, and then you see like spreads and stuff, and that makes you go crazy. So future trading helped me a little bit with that. But
Mm.
of course, when you go into a setup, you are really like, okay, this is a good setup. I waited a long time for this. I analyzed it really good. And then you enter the trade and it makes like movements that you don't really see coming. It's just a little bit hard sometimes because then you go crazy. You start to one thing you never should do, for all listeners that are not into trading that much, you should never move your stop loss because you're emotionally involved in a trade or so. So you don't take the SL and put it in a larger position just because you don't want to make a loss or stuff. That's a mistake everybody does sometimes in their life.
So
When
you
trade,
better take the loss than to continue
then
bringing it down.
exactly, yes. When you take the trade and you put an SL into a specific position, then leave it there because you have to you overthink the situations, and you have a specific point of a specific take profit point and a specific stop loss point, and those points are, you analyze it and these are the best positions. So leave it there. Don't play around, make it larger and stuff. That not gonna this is not gonna help. That's some part when you go into a trade, when you analyze it, as you said in your question, when you can destroy your trading, because of course you think your trade is good, the trade doesn't make the movements you want to see, you larger the stop loss, and then you get hit with a large stop loss, and then everything is done.
I would say it's also kind of you need to trust your gut because there is a reason why you put the stop loss in a specific place. There's no need to bring it lower and lower and lower just
Exactly.
because you're being emotional. So trust your gut, really trust what you were doing initially. Like the first
Exactly.
thing that you did, you were correct.
That's what I tried to say.
Exactly. So how would you describe then for yourself your daily routine? Like describe to me what happens. You wake up, you have your coffee, and then do you go immediately into trading, or do you kind of spend some time into reading any news articles or any reports that come out, or do you simply trust your own eyes and you just sit down and start trading?
So basically, my trading day starts. I wake up, then of course I go into the markets because, or at first I go into investing.com to look at the news. Of course, I know when some certain news are, then I don't trade at all because it's totally risky. But then I go into my three main markets. It's like oil, the ES, so S&P 500, and gold. Those are my main markets. I analyze the situations, and then I quickly see if there's something gonna happen today, or if I have to wait sometimes. And then, of course, when I see that there are certain things that could happen, I stay at the market. And if there's nothing interesting, then I leave the computer and come back after 1 or 2 hours.
Okay, so you do have situations where you don't see anything interesting, so you're like, you know what? I move.
So yeah, yeah.
All right. So what do you do during that time? Do you do any like skill development? Are you reading more, learning more, or are you the kind of guy that says, okay, trading is one thing, but if there's nothing going on, I'm gonna go do my hobbies?
Exactly. Like I'm doing sports and stuff, or yoga to just calm
Yoga.
down. Yes.
So do you meditate and try to look for signs while you're in the zone, while you're zen?
I did meditating a lot, but not now. I do yoga because, of course, you sit a lot, and sitting is not that healthy all the time. So, just to get into movements from the body and stuff.
That's so interesting that you say that, because I feel like the traders I spoke with so far, most of them, when they say, "Oh, I do sports," everyone is like, "Oh, yes, I do CrossFit. I do boxing. I go to the gym." And you're like the chillest person. You just say, "Yeah, I do yoga.
Yeah.
I do yoga." Okay, so after you finished your yoga session, you meditated, you're back on your computer, you're opening your trades. So would you say that you're trading day to day, like every day you have a certain routine and you're really punctual, or do you allow yourself to kind of be a bit more relaxed about it?
Yes, I would say I'm allowing myself to just see what's coming. I'm not really that focused on stuff. Of course, I have my strategy and everything is fixed. Like I know what I have to do, but my trading style is not with like indicators and stuff. So I have to be a little bit okay. I have to give the market some times to develop as a setup and stuff. So I'm not really that strict and this gonna have to happen and this and then I'm only going to do some stuff. But it's just my experience with trading. I always was a little bit I'm gonna give the situation some time, then I look if it makes sense, and then I'm gonna do my stuff.
Okay. So what do you do when you're looking into develop more skills? Because the market is ever changing. Even if you keep it classy like you do, the market is changing all the time. So what do you do to keep yourself up to date and develop yourself even more?
Mhm. Of course, the first thing everybody should do is when you take a trade, if it's a take profit or a stop loss, always back test it, because you never know what mistakes you're gonna do or what you did. So that's like the first thing you could do to develop and what I'm doing. Um, Back testing itself is a little helpful to understand certain market movements from the past, because those could happen in the future. Um, but I would say just market experience, market time, like the time you spend on the charts. Of course, the markets, they change every day. Sometimes, even in the futures, they have like those extinction dates, and then another contract starts. And when another contract starts, it's completely different. The market goes from fast to really slow. So you have to take 1, 2, 3 days to just look at the markets, understand what's going on, and then you can jump in and trade again. But really developing, I'm not really into trading coachings and stuff anymore.
I was gonna ask about that because you said you did use some coachers in the
Yeah.
beginning. So what changed?
I started, my first trading coach was Marcus Schulz, from Volume Trading or Volume Trader. Um, I started with volume trading, of course, and I was successful with that, but it just didn't fit my style of trading that much, I would say. So I started to change that. And now I'm trading liquidity hunting, which isn't that much of a difference from volume trading. So from the thought of volume trading, but it's different in the way how you trade. I used some YouTube coaches.
YouTube
Those,
coaches.
yes, I found a YouTube coach. I think his name is Mete Kaplan, Mete Kaplan, something like that. He explains smart money concepts really good, like ICT trading. I don't know if you know that. It's a guy with market structures and stuff. He describes that really good, and I just took a little bit from everything, put it into my style of trading, and developed an own style of training from all of this informations I got. So now I'm on a point where I think it's just not that useful to take more informations and more informations from other people. I just have to develop as a person itself in my trading style. So that's mostly the reason I don't use trading coaches anymore. But I can really say, like, if anybody wants to start with trading and wants strategies that you get from other persons that are really like they had, they have proven themselves in the markets, You can really go to Marcus Schulz with volume traders, really good. Or of course, there are some free coachings out there that are still very good. But if you want to get successful with trading, you have to take a lot of money from the beginning to get a good coaching.
What about you becoming a coach?
Um, I thought about that sometimes, but I still have to prove myself, I think. I mean, at the beginning still, so I'm gonna take time with that. I'm gonna see what the future holds with it.
I love how honest you are, that you say, not yet, not yet. I need to
Yeah.
prove myself. Okay, so what would you say was your biggest, let's say, a very significant experience that you've had with losses that taught you the most? I mean, did you have any one specific trade that until today you keep thinking about it and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe that happened.
I don't have a specific trade, but I have a specific experience because when I started with this liquidity trading, I literally crashed my accounts en masse. It was
Ouch.
really, yes, it was horrible. I really overthought trading itself. I had like this little crisis in my life where I thought was trading the right decision and can you make money with trading and stuff like this. This conversation you have with yourself when you are not a good trader. um, this was like a really this was a situation that's still sticking with me because of course nobody wants to crash accounts. And I learned from it because when you are on a really dark spot, even with trading, you have to overthink what you're doing. And if you stick to your plan and if you continue with trading and don't quit it, you will certainly come to a point where you understand, okay, now I got it. I made this mistake and I made it over and over and over again. And this was crashing my accounts completely. Then you leave it out of your trading. You start again. You're still doing mistakes, but your performances gets better. Then you crash another account. Then you make it another. You continue to do that cycle, and you will come to a point where you leave out those bad habits and bad stuff that you do during trading, and then you will come to a point where your performances are better. So I would say it's still sticking to my mind that I crashed a lot of accounts and did a lot of mistakes, not in a specific trade, but in a row of trades. But now I'm happy that I did that because now I can say that I understand what my mistakes are.
You did learn from your mistakes. It
Of
was
course,
painful, but useful.
it was really painful, but really useful. Yes.
Okay, so what keeps you motivated, especially in times like this when you have like mistake after mistake? What keeps you motivated and brings you back to track?
That's an interesting question because right now I have like a little bit a hard, rough time in the markets. What is keeping me motivated? I would say I just can't quit. It's nothing that's in me. I started when I was 15 years old. I had just like 3 or 4 years where I constantly lost money. I don't think it's normal to continue trading in that time of period. So um, what keeps me motivated is I just can't give up with trading because I know that I have a lot of skill and I want to see how far I can get with trading. So of course I want to achieve a little bit more in my life, and I think trading is a big opportunity for me. That's basically what keeps me motivated. And of course, when you have a good trade, then your motivation goes up. It's
It sounds to me like I'm imagining you in that scene from Rocky when he's like running up the stairs. So that's kind of how I imagine you with trading, because you're saying, I can't quit. I can't
yes,
quit. I need to keep going. I have a lot of skill. I can do it. And you're like up the stairs.
yes, that's completely it. Of course.
Okay. So I want to ask you, first of all, let's take a step about let's take a step back about like prop trading for a second. So you started with learning from one style to another. You have some experience from like when you were 15. That's like a lot of time. And now you're doing prop trading. What
Yes.
got you into that?
My last trading coach, basically, Marcus Schulz, that was the first time I came in contact with the trading pit. I knew some prop trading companies up front, but I didn't want to trade with them because I didn't heard good stuff about them, basically. And then I came in contact with the trading pit. When I started with volume trading, it was like always in my mind, okay, I want to do it with this company. And it was like a little dream to get a funded account. And then I changed my trading style rapidly, became successful with that. Um, and then I just tried a challenge because I knew I could do it. And the first challenge I did with the trading pit was successful, luckily. And now I love it to trade with the trading pit. It's a good experience. I don't have problems. If I have problems, the support is helping me really quickly. So it's like a great experience. And prop trading, it's you just feel a little bit more safe when you trade because you don't. Of course, I don't have a lot of money myself that I can use to trade. Of, for example, in the future markets, you need a lot of money to really make good money. So that's all things that helps me to trade and to develop as a trader. And I think that I can really develop as a person and as a trader with this whole experience of funded trading. I think it's really great.
I want to ask you for your opinion on something, to be honest, because you did mention earlier, you said that you don't like trading the news because it's really risky. And in prop trading, for us, for example, we have some rules that we implement about news trading. And some people don't know why that is. And from our side, it's also has a lot to do with risk because news trading can be either very, very good or very, very bad, especially like close to the announcement of the news itself. So, from your experience, I mean, not necessarily with prop trading, but from your experience, so news trading, have you been burned before with that?
Um, I never did news trading itself. I I do I still do it when I analyze situations way before the news are, and I have a specific entry point. I leave it there, even if I know that news are coming, because I made really good experiences with it. But I always stick to the rules of the trading bit because I do think they are good. And I don't recommend to trade news because it's really just a gamble. You never know what could happen. If especially if you trade like smaller time zones, like 1 minute or 5 minutes or something like that, um, you just don't want to go into the markets minutes before the news are coming. It's just a gamble. There's nothing I can say more because you never know if it's a good or a bad news.
That's true. So I do want to ask you, let's say, two last questions
Mhm.
very, very quickly. I want to hear, first of all, about your best asset that you traded so far in 2024, like your favorite, best top asset.
Mm, do you mean like a market?
Not necessarily market. You can say like gold, oil, Nasdaq. I mean, I've had a lot of different
Mhm.
opinions, but most people keep saying
Okay.
Nasdaq is the favorite.
Um, Oil.
Oil.
Yes, oil.
Oil is like your biggest success so far in 2024.
Um, I would say it's it's a mixture of oil and S&P 500 for me. Um, but I do favorize oil.
Okay. And what is your least favorite asset to trade on in 2024, or the asset that betrayed you the most? Like betrayal.
Mm, uh, Gold really did me dirty sometimes. I don't know. Can I say it? Can I say
Yeah,
that?
of course,
um,
man.
but I still, but I still look forward to go. I have hope for it. But what I don't like to trade is sorry, I have to look in the market. Of course, I don't know the name. I think it's Nasdaq that I don't like to trade because
Interesting.
it's really how do you say, similar to the ES, to S&P 500, but it's way faster and certain movements are not clearly enough for me to trade in this market.
Okay,
It's like
okay.
it's the NQ. Am I right?
Is what?
Is it the NQ?
The end, I think. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
Nasdaq, yes.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, then it's Nasdaq.
Damn. Okay. Then one last thing I do want to ask you before we finish off. What would you say, like your number one tip for someone that's starting trading tomorrow? Like tomorrow is
Mhm.
his first day, he's looking into it. What is your number one tip for that person?
Get a good coach or get a good coaching and never give up. It's simply said. You there when you start trading, some bad things will happen. It's totally normal. You will lose money, you will get frustrated, you will question your life. But if you never give up, then you will sure come to a point where everything makes sense.
Keep running up those stairs, Rocky. Keep running.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for today. Thank you, Nico. I'm
Thanks
excited
for
to
having me.
see the rest of your journey with trading, whether it's futures, CFDs, however you choose to proceed with your career. It sounds very, very interesting, and I'm sure that you're gonna get to the top, top, top. You're
I
very,
hope
very
so.
highly motivated, so I'm excited to see where you're gonna get.
I hope so. Thanks. Thanks for
Thank
having me.
you. Thank you so much.